Hello and welcome to Core Yoga. My name is Erica and I'm with UMBC Recreation. If you're new to this class or to yoga in general, it's structured much like other exercise classes. We start with a warm-up, build some heat in our body. Then we get into the bulk of our practice where we're moving around a bit more on the mat, getting more into some core work, and then we end with the cool down. I'd say the biggest difference is that at the end of class, we lay flat on our back. We try to remain still for about 2 to 3 minutes and give some time for some inward reflection. So I just want to remind everyone that yoga is not just about the outside physical body, it's about what is on the inside as well. With that being said, I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body, practice for your body and your body only. If you need to take breaks, take rest. If something doesn't feel right, don't feel forced to do it. Practice for you. And always check with the doctor before you start a new exercise regimen. Today we're going to get started in a standing position, so go ahead and stand at the top of your mat with your feet hips width distance apart. Stand up nice and tall with the tension at the top of the mat. And when I say stand tall with purpose and attention, I want you to root down through your feet, find length up through the sides of the body, out through the crown of the head as shoulders relax down the back. So we're standing nice, tall, and strong. Tailbone is sent long to the floor. Belly slightly active, so drawing in, and our palms are facing forward. And we're going to take a few deep breaths here, just breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Nice deep cleansing breaths. Releasing what we don't need out of the body on the exhale. Breathing in through nose and out through mouth. In through nose, out through mouth. Go ahead and resume your normal pattern of breath and start some shoulder rolls, drawing the shoulders up towards the ears and then relaxing them down the back. Nice, big, exaggerated circles, loosening the muscles. And we'll switch and go the opposite direction, so shoulders come down and around the front. Find some stillness. Take your left hand over to your right shoulder and press down nice and gently. Let your head fall over to the opposite side. And we'll take a few breaths here, getting a nice stretch for the neck. Just breathing here. Then lift your head through center and we'll switch sides. So right hand to left shoulder, gently press down and let head fall over to the right. Lift your head through center and lower your arms down by your sides. Lift left arm, up towards the ceiling. Reach through the tips of the fingers, getting a nice stretch on the side of the body. Draw the belly button in back towards the spine. Turn on your core. We'll find a slight side bend over to the right. And keep length on the right side of the body as well. Don't crunch over. So right side of the body is still long. Then we'll roll down to forward fold, bringing my belly down to my thighs, gently bending my knees to make that contact belly to thigh. Arms and head hang heavy down towards the floor, and we'll hold for a few breaths here. Pressing firmly into the feet, weight is heavily in the balls of the feet. Low belly still drawing in. Hips are reaching high towards the sky. Shake the head yes and no a few times to help the neck relax. Then nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time, we'll round the spine up to a standing position until we're standing nice and tall at the top of the mat once again. Right arm now lifts towards the ceiling, reaching through the tips of the fingers nice and long, and taking a side bend over to the left, holding here, belly still active. Chin lifts from the chest. Core is holding you up. We'll roll down to forward fold, bringing belly to thighs, gently bending the knees, letting arms and head hang heavy. Rise to half lift, flattening the back till it's parallel with floor, bringing hands to shins. Shoulders move away from the ears. And step into a plank position, so bend the knees so you can plant the hands and step back into a traditional plank. Lower the knees to tabletop and uncurl the toes, top of feet to mat. Spread your fingers nice and wide, wrists stacked underneath the shoulders. We're going to loosen up the wrist a little bit here, so we'll make some circles around the hands. Nice and slow. Stick with one direction for now. We take a lot of planks in this class, so we just want to loosen up the wrists. And start to go the opposite direction, making those circles. Find stillness, turn the fingertips out towards the long edges of the mat. And now we'll just gently lean side to side. Turn the fingertips forward once again. Just with the right hand, we're going to flip it to bring the top of the hand to the mat. And then we'll flip it again, palm down. We'll do that a few times. Top of the hand to mat, palm to mat. Then switch and do the same thing with the left hand. And find your tabletop position again. Hands planted flat on the mat, wrist under shoulders. Lift up to the tips of the fingers and round the spine into cat pose, tucking chin to chest. Then slowly lift and arch the spine, gazing up towards the ceiling. Again, we round the spine to cat pose. Lift and arch to cow. Keep this movement up, rounding the spine and arching the spine. We'll do this a few more times, loosening up the muscles on the back side of the body. And settle back into your tabletop position. Stay up on the tips of the fingers. Extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes, heel in line with hip. Give me a crunch, drawing right knee in towards the chest, rounding the spine, lifting the knee nice and high, drawing belly in, and then we'll extend the leg behind us once again. Tabletop crunches. Drawing the right knee back towards the chest, rounding the spine, lifting the knee high, drawing the belly in. This time we're going to step the foot into a lunge position, ankle below the knee. If you can't do that hands free, grab your foot and place it into alignment. As we slowly breathe in through the nose, we'll lift both arms overhead, up towards the ceiling, and exhale here. Take a few deep breaths into your chest. On your next exhale, fingertips come down towards the floor. We'll extend the right leg behind us, pointing through the toes, and return to tabletop. Left leg extends, heel in line with hip. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, pull that knee up nice and high, belly's drawing in, and extend the leg behind you. Give me a crunch another time, rounding the spine, lifting that knee high, and stepping the foot into lunge or placing it there manually. Draw the breath in through the nose, lifting both arms overhead, exhale at the top. Another few deep breaths into the chest. Next, exhale, fingertips come down to the mat. Extend the left leg long behind you, pointing through the toes, and return to tabletop position with hands flat to mat. Bring your elbows down to the mat, stacked underneath the shoulders. Turn your palms still face down and head relaxes into puppy pose. Getting a nice lengthening in the spine here. Just taking a few breaths. We're finishing up our warm-up. Settle into child's, bringing your hips all the way down to your heels, resting your forehead on the mat. If you're uncomfortable in child's pose for any reason, you're more than welcome to take puppy instead. One or the other will be your rest period for the class. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. Taking a few more deep breaths wherever you're at. Give me a few in through the nose and out through the mouth. Enjoying this little last bit of stillness before we kick things up a notch. Slowly rise back to your tabletop position and lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your left leg behind you, pointing through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, draw the belly in, and step the foot into a lunge position. Tuck right toes onto the mat. Lift up to the pointer and middle finger, and lift that right knee into the air, sending hips up, sending chest forward, drawing belly in into a lunge. Step up to half lift, so right foot steps up to meet the left. We flatten the back, hands to shins. Lower to forward fold by bending the knees, dropping belly to thighs, letting arms and head hang heavy. And one vertebrae at a time will rise up to a standing position, letting your chin come up from the chest last. Once you make it to standing, give me a deep breath in through the nose, lifting arms out at your sides and overhead. And as you exhale out through the mouth, we'll lower arms back down by our sides. So now we're going to move into the bulk of our practice. Before we get started, I'm going to demo our plank sequence for the week. We're going to tie that into our practice. So I'm going to demo the first time so everybody knows where we're headed, and then we'll do it all together. So today we're actually going to take the crawl part of bear crawl. So if you've been taking this class, you know I do the bear crawl lift and we don't do the walk. Today we're going to initiate the walk. So we're going to start in a bear crawl position. Wrist under shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide, knees are stacked under the hips. You start by lifting the knees off the ground just a few inches. And it's important to keep your back flat. You don't want to find an arch or round. Back stays flat, belly draws in towards the spine, and lift the knees off the mat. For bear crawls, we're going to step one at a time. Our hands are going to go first. So my right hand comes forward, opposite foot, left foot comes forward. Then I'll step my foot back, and I'll step my hand back. Left hand, right foot, step back, step back. Right hand, left foot, step back, step back. We're going to do that 2 times on each side. And when you find you're walking and doing your bear crawl, it might take a little bit of coordination. Try to keep that back nice and flat. So we're going to do that 2 times on each side. Then we'll step back into a plank, lower to forearm plank, and hold for 5 seconds here before we lower onto our belly. If you find that this sequence gets difficult, you can always drop your knees to the mat and take a breather and then hop back in when you're ready. And then I'll give you guys some options to kick it up an extra notch if you're feeling a little feisty. So let's all start at the top of our mat with our feet hip width distance apart. Stand nice and tall with purpose, just how we started today. Give me a nice deep breath in through the nose and lift both arms overhead. As you exhale out through the mouth, lower to forward fold, belly comes back down to the thighs. Rise half lift, flattening the back. Step into your plank position and lower the knees to tabletop, preparing for that lift. Tuck toes onto mat and lift the knees. We'll step forward in 3, 2, 1. Right hand, left foot, step back, step back. Left hand, right foot, step back, back. 1, right hand, foot, step back, step back. Left hand, foot, step back, step back. Into plank, forearm plank, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Legs together, tops of feet to mat, hands under shins and elbows up to ceiling. We'll lift the chest off the mat to baby cobra using the strength of our core and our back. So your hands should be able to float off the floor. Then we'll press into our rest position, either child or puppy, whichever you prefer, and we'll take a breath or 2 here. Take the chance to deepen your breath whenever you're in your rest position. Slowly rise back to a tabletop position, lifting up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, round that spine. Pull the belly in. Get the foot into lunge. Left toes tuck onto mat. We'll lift the knee in the air, lifting up to pointer and middle finger. Step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And we'll slowly rise to standing. We're going to take that 2 more times through. Once you're up, deep breath in to lift the arms overhead. Slow exhale out to find your forward fold. Rise, half lift, flatten your back. Step into plank and lower the knees to tabletop. Hover the knees off the mat and we'll step forward in 3, 2, 1. Forward, forward, back, and back. Forward, forward, back, and back. One more. Forward, forward, back, and back. Keep it going. Step into plank, forearm plank, and hold for 5, 4, 2, and 1. Let go. Hands under shoulders and legs together. Lift the chest to baby cobra, shoulders wrap behind the heart, and press into your rest position. Deepen your breath. Take advantage of the stillness. Slowly rise back to tabletop and lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your left leg behind you, point through the toes, and give me a crunch. Knee to chest, round that spine, lift that knee up high, step it into lunge. Right knee lifts off the mat. Step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And slowly rise to standing. We've got 1 more time through. Give me a nice deep breath in as you lift the arms overhead. And exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift, flattening the back. Exhale as you step back into plank and lower the knees to a tabletop position. Tuck toes onto mat and lift the knees. And we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Forward, forward, back, and back. Forward, forward, back, back. Forward, forward, back, and back. Forward, forward, back, and back. Step into plank, forearm plank. If you want to amp your forearm plank up, try some hip dips where you roll the hips side to side. We're rolling over on the toes and letting the hips come down to either side of the mat. And then lower to the belly. It's up to you. You don't have to add that if you don't like. Lift the chest to baby cobra and press to child's, hips to heels. Take a few breaths here. A little shorter this time. We're going to rise right back to tabletop. Next option to kick things up a notch, if you'd like to make your tabletop crunches a little harder, instead of lifting up to the tips of the fingers, you can completely ignore me when I say that and keep your hands nice and flat. You'll notice it might be a little harder that way. We'll all extend our right leg behind us, pointing through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest around the spine. Pull that knee up high. You'll have to pull it higher if hands are flat, and get the foot into lunge. Step up to half lift, flattening the back. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And slowly rise up to standing. Deep breath in and arms up. We're going to switch it up a little bit this time. And exhale to fold, belly comes down. Rise, half lift. Step back into plank. And lower the knees to tabletop. Preparing for some tabletop crunches, lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your left leg behind you, point through the toes. On your exhale, give me a crunch, knee to chest, round the spine. Inhale to extend the leg behind you. 2 more times. Exhale to crunch, pull that belly in nice and tight. Inhale to extend. Exhale, last time, pull the knee in, hold it here, but don't hold the breath. See if you can lift that knee a little bit higher and get the foot into lunge. Right knee lifts off the mat. Bring hands to thighs and extend arms overhead into Anjaneyasana. We're on the ball of the right foot. Left knee is stacked right over the ankle. And take a few deep breaths into your chest. Open up to the 5-pointed star facing the right side of your mat. So feet come flat and arms lower down to shoulder height. Both feet are facing forward. Lower arms down by your sides. Bring just the left arm up to the ceiling and add a side bend, holding here. Core holds you up, not your free hand. Chin lifts from the chest. Then we'll slowly switch sides. Opposite arm comes up. And lower arms down by your sides. Bring hands to hips. Turn the toes out so they face away from one another. Then bend the knees into goddess pose, stacking them over the ankles, sending hips down towards the floor. We're lengthening the spine, opening the hips. Make sure you're pressing firmly into all four corners of your feet. Inner and outer ball, inner and outer heel. If you notice that when you press the four corners of your feet down, it forces you to straighten your legs a little bit, that's okay. Maybe your hips just aren't as open. Practice for your body. As we inhale, we'll straighten the legs and rise to standing and turn the toes forward once again. Hinge forward at the hips so you can bring fingertips down towards the floor, bending the knees if you need to make that contact. Then left foot turns forward to face the front of the mat. We'll walk our hands back into lunge, lifting right heel back off the mat. Step into plank, lower to tabletop, preparing for our bear crawls. We're lifting the knees off the mat, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Forward, forward, back, and back. Keep it going. Forward and forward. That's 1. Last time. Step into plank, forearm plank. We're holding for 5. Remember, you can add those hip dips if you like to add a little intensity. Release all the way down to the floor, hands under shoulders. Inhale to lift the chest and exhale to your rest position. Taking a few moments of breath here. Remembering to deepen your breath each time you take a rest. Slowly rise back to tabletop, preparing for tabletop crunches. Extend the left leg behind you. Draw knee into chest and step the foot into lunge. Step up to half lift as you breathe in, flattening the back. Exhale to fold, belly to thighs. And draw the inhale out as you rise up to standing, nice and slow. And exhale at the top. Next breath in brings arms back overhead. Exhale to fold, belly to thighs. Inhale to half lift, flatten the back. Exhale as you step back into plank and lower the knees to tabletop, preparing for tabletop crunches. Extend the right leg behind you. Exhale to crunch, knee to chest. Draw that belly in. Inhale to extend. Exhale to crunch for 2. Draw that knee up. Inhale to extend. Last time, draw that knee in, round your spine. See if you can lift the knee just a little bit higher and step the foot into lunge. Lift left knee off to the mat. Bring hands to thighs and extend arms overhead into Anjaneyasana. Another few deep breaths here. Open up to 5-pointed star, facing the left this time. Feet forward and arms at shoulder height. Lower arms down by your sides. Bring right arm up towards the ceiling and add a side bend. Holding here. Slowly switching to the opposite side. And lower arm down by your side. Bring hands to hips. Turn those toes to face away from one another and bend the knees back into goddess pose, stacking them over the ankles. Chest stays nice and lifted. Deepen your breath. Inhale to find your standing position. Turn the toes forward. Hinge at the hips, fingertips down to the floor. Right foot turns forward, walking the hands back into lunge. Step back into plank and lower the knees down to tabletop, preparing for our bear crawls. Lift those knees off the mat, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Forward, forward, back, and back. Keep it going. Don't hold your breath. Last time. Step into plank, forearm plank, holding for 5. Release down to the belly. Inhale to lift the chest and exhale to your rest position. Taking a moment of stillness here, deepening the breath. Taking note of how you feel in your body. Slowly rise to a tabletop position, preparing for tabletop crunches. Extend the right leg behind you. Draw a knee into chest around the spine and step the foot into lunge. Step up to half lift, flattening your back. Lower to fold, belly to thigh. And slowly rise up to standing. So we're going to move into some balancing poses. We're going to try dancer today. We're going to take a modified version where we're going to focus on strengthening our core and our lower back. We're going to start with our left leg as the standing leg. So all the weight will be in that foot. Lift those toes up, spread them nice and wide, and plant them back down to the floor. Tiny micro bend in our standing leg, so don't lock the joint out. Turn the thigh muscle and your glute on. Nice, strong, solid leg. Left arm comes up to the ceiling. We'll bend the right knee and reach down and grab a hold of the ankle from the outside. If you can't hold this here, I want you to work just lowering the toes down to the mat and lifting them back to the hands a few times back and forth until we're finished with this pose. If you've got a hold of your foot, draw the knees nice and close together and gently kick into your hand, lifting through the chest, gaze is slightly up. So core is turned on. Squeezing nice and tight, your low back is working as you kick into your hand. We're holding here, not holding the breath, keeping that core nice and active. As we exhale, we'll slowly release, lowering arm down by our side and foot down to the mat. Switching sides, all the weight into the right foot. Lift those toes up, spread them nice and wide, tiny micro bend, turn on the thigh, turn on the glute. Right arm comes up towards the ceiling. We'll bend the left knee and take hold. Draw the knees close together. Kick into your hand, lift through the chest. Gaze is up, core is on. Breathe here for the next few moments. On your next exhale, you'll release your arm and leg down by your side. Give me a nice deep breath in through the nose, lifting arms out at our sides, up overhead. As we exhale, we'll bring hands together and down to heart center. We're going to take 2 more deep breaths. I want you guys to close your eyes for the next 2. Lower arms down by your sides. Deep breath in, arms up overhead. Exhale out the mouth, hands together and down through heart center. Last time, arms down at your sides. Breath in, arms up. Exhale, hands together into heart center. Just hold for a moment here with the eyes closed. Slowly fall into forward fold, bringing belly to thighs. Let the arms hang heavy. Eyes can open if you like, or they can stay closed, whatever feels most comfortable. Take a few breaths here in forward fold, just lengthening the spine, stretching the backside of the legs. Slowly rise to half lift, flattening your back. Step into a plank position and lower the knees to tabletop. We've got one last set of plank work to do here with our bear crawls. So go ahead and lift those knees off the mat, and we'll start in 3, 2, 1, forward, forward, back, and back. Keep it going. It's our last set. We can do it. Here's number 2. Last one. Step into plank, forearm plank. This time we're gonna hold for 15. If you're tired, you can lower down early. I've already started counting. Whatever you're doing, don't hold the breath. We've got another 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. All the way down to the belly. Bring your face down to the mat, turning your head to one side so you can rest on your cheek. Arms are along the sides of the body, palms face up. Wiggle the shoulders away from your ears. Wiggle the hips a little bit side to side, helping the low back to relax. And we'll take a short rest here on our bellies. My eyes sort of always naturally close here. Maybe try closing the eyes if they're not already. And just focus on your breath. Focusing on the beat of your heart. Slowly turn your head to the opposite side, resting on the opposite cheek. Bring your chin to your mat, place your hands underneath your shoulders, and press into your rest position one last time. If you're in child's, we'll take a rounded variation this time, bringing arms along the sides of the body, palms face up, and shoulders melt down towards the floor. Slowly rise to a seated position with your legs straight out in front of you, flat on your sits bones. Bend your right knee, placing your foot to the mat. Use your left arm to hold on to that bent knee. And we'll open the spinal twist, twisting to the right, placing our right hand directly behind us, gazing over the right shoulder. Spine stays long towards the ceiling, belly is active, drawing in towards the spine. Getting a nice massage for our organs and a stretch to our core. We did a lot of work for the belly. Giving it a nice little stretch here. Slowly unwind, untwist, return forward and straighten the leg. Bend the left knee, placing foot to mat. Right arm holds on. We'll open the spinal twist to the left, looking over left shoulder. Slowly unwind and face forward. If you're not already sitting in the center of your mat, make your way there now. Bend your knees, planting your feet to the floor. Hands on the back sides of the thighs. We'll roll down until we're flat on our back. And straighten our legs onto the mat. And just take a moment of stillness here on our back. Draw right knee in towards your chest into Apanasana, interlacing the fingers and holding on below the knee, flexing the feet, drawing thigh close to the chest. If it's uncomfortable on your knee to do so, you can hold on to the back of the thigh instead. Getting a nice stretch for the low back here. Gently release and return your leg to the mat. And then draw the left knee in towards your chest, holding below the knee and flexing the feet, thigh close to body. Release your leg back to the mat. Draw both knees in towards your chest now, feet side by side. Again, holding on below the knee or on the back of the thighs and pulling the thighs close to the body. Keep the knees drawn in towards your chest, but release your arms down to the floor at shoulder height, palms face up. Let your knees fall to the right side of the floor into reclined spinal. Turn your head gently towards the left. And just breathe. This is the perfect time to gently close the eyes, as this is our last pose before our final resting pose. It'll help prepare the body for stillness by removing that external stimulation of sight. Closing the eyes allows us to look inward a little easier. Slowly draw knees back to center and let them fall over to the left this time as head turns to the right. Draw knees back to center, hold on to the legs, pulling them close to the body one last time. Take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it at the top as you lift your head to meet your knees, squeeze everything nice and tight, muscles in your legs, your arms, your toes, your fingers. And as you exhale out through the mouth, you'll relax and lay flat on the mat, spreading your arms and legs nice and wide, taking up space. Palms face up, eyes are closed. And we'll settle in here for stillness, about 2 to 3 minutes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale out through the mouth, relax completely onto your mat. Relax your brow. And keep your focus on your breath, following every rhythmic, repetitive rise and fall of your chest. If your focus has wandered, bring your attention back to your breath. Now begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Welcome movement back to the body. And slowly roll over to the right side of your body, taking a moment of stillness on your side, maybe using your arm as a pillow. Keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered to the floor, slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. As always, to end class, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together as one. That's breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Today we're going to add movement to our breath. So as we exhale, we'll round our spine, dropping chin to chest. On the inhale, we'll lift and arch and tilt our head up towards the ceiling. Let's all start on an exhale, rounding the spine and emptying the body of breath. Start a slow inhale in through the nose as you lift and arch the spine, tilting the head up to the ceiling. Then exhale out through the mouth, rounding the spine, dropping chin to chest for 1. Inhaling, lifting and arching, head lifts. Exhale out through the mouth, rounding the spine for 2. Last one, deepest breath in as you find the arch in the back, lift the head. Exhale, nice and slow as you round the spine and lower chin to chest. Take a second here to thank yourself and your body for getting you through this practice, taking time for yourself today. I want to thank you as well for letting me lead you on this practice. There is a light within me that honors the light within each and every one of you. Thanks so much for practicing with me today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this class, a new version of this class is aired every Wednesday at 8 a.m. If you're looking for something a little easier on the body, I teach a vinyasa yoga, which is much like this, but without all the core work. That is released every Monday at 8 a.m. I hope to see you guys next time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, just want to say hi, leave me a message in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks so much.